Look at that rack. I love it.
Yeah, there's a cool one on top of the car too.
What's up, everybody? Full Face Andy here, and we're gonna get onto a new project today. This is my buddy Randy's truck, and we're gonna build a like a ladder style rack. You probably see them. They have covering the bed and then going over the cab a little bit. He's got a topper for the bed, so we're gonna have it wrap around that. And I'm doing something a little bit different than normally done for these kind of ladder racks. I'm using something that people are probably gonna cringe when they hear it. I'm using EMT conduit. Right? I got 1-inch EMT, and I believe that'll work great. This is gonna be holding probably a handful of kayaks, maybe some ladders, and some other stuff. But it's not meant to be ridiculously stout. It's meant to be functional, not incredibly heavy, and just you know, on the cheaper end. I could buy a 10-foot stick for less than 10 bucks. So that's why I like working with EMT, and I can hand bend them. I got a little EMT bender, and I can hand bend all this stuff. You can see I got kind of a little side project going here, just to give you more ideas. Here's some old frames that I didn't build. Here's a trailer I built, and there's a fully done raft frame that I built, all using 1-inch EMT. And if this can go down Class 5 river, I don't think it will have a problem sitting on the back of the truck. I also got some 1/4-inch thick plate for the where everything's gonna mount on the bed, and then I also got 1/4-inch angle iron just because I feel like I'm gonna do something with that. This is my idea, having kind of a ladder near the back and climb up, and then your typical shape for a ladder rack where it goes over the cab, kind of having a slope to it to try and help support, you know, triangulate some stuff. And then kind of from the back looking at it, it'll be pretty wide just to kind of maximize your space available. On top of that, I also have some of this. Oh, that's closed piece right here. This is, what do they call this? They call this Polymax. What they use in poultry caging and dog kennels and the floor. It's kind of a farm type product. And I like using this for anywhere that I need to stand on that I don't want to use metal, because maybe metal would be more expensive for one and also heavier, and I also wouldn't want to use wood because wood eventually is going to rot. I'm going to put it on the top of this rack just for kind of, you know, cargo space up there. And so I got a couple sheets of it, and I'm going to kind of lay that out, and so hopefully I'll be able to get this done this weekend and have a pretty solid rack. If you aren't familiar with what I do a lot of different stuff. I do a lot of kayaking, rafting, fishing, and I also build things. So if and I also fix things like, you know, vehicles. I do a lot of work on vehicles. Look at that. I got a 1986 Subaru Brat here with a 6-inch lift on 29s or 30s, and I got the motor pole. That's another project. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, comment down below. I am usually pretty good about getting to them, so let's get into it. So starting out with the feet, I'm going to use this 1/4-inch plate right here. That's where it's going to sit, 12 inches down, and then it'll be 6-inch wide, but I'm going to have 1-inch bent to kind of hook into the lip right here. Let's get cutting. That's a lot of stuff to cut through. I got it bent the right amount. Now I'm just gonna weld in the backside just to solidify it. So welding this thick stuff, I got 023 wire on here for welding all the light gauge EMT. But basically what I did is I did a fairly cold weld down here, pretty much designed for a 18 or 16 gauge, and then I cranked it all the way up to you know, more like 1/8 to 3/16 gauge settings, and I'm just kind of throwing one over the top to fill in, and it's not filling in, you know, all the way, but what I'll do is I'll just grind it down to make it smooth, make it look pretty. something like that. I'll cut out a small piece that'll fit here in the very front. I wanted no more than I think about 16 inches between my supports because the material here, the Polyflex, Polymax, whatever the hell it's called, I forget. But the plastic grating material that I got, it's somewhat flexible. From my testing, it can handle up to about 16 inches between supports. So if I space these out, I think it was like maybe 14 or 15 inches, something like that is what I calculated. But I'm gonna lay those out, and that'll be good for walking on and stuff and loading gear on. It's starting to get late here in the first evening, so I'm gonna try and get all my cutting done, or at least a lot of it, so that way after quiet hours I could at least weld stuff together. So quick question, how does somebody get a sunburn at midnight? Well, this is how you do a hell of a lot of welding, all right? And you don't wear anything because it's hot, and so yeah, summertime. So I got my basically my rack assembled here, welded all together. What I'm gonna work on today is getting the legs and feet oriented to get this thing up in the air, and then I'm gonna do some final decisions on like my rails that'll go down the side, figuring out those, and yeah, so let's do it. Having it up there, I was able to figure out kind of another size restriction. The back end is going to be right there. Once I have the back end figured out, then it's simple. Measure the plate. Where's the next foot need to go, or where's the next leg need to go, and then measure forward to the next leg. And because those plates are able to slide on the bed rail, I have a little bit of wiggle room, but at least I got my initial measurement figured out of where things need to start. So I should be able to cut and tack weld into position and then move it back up, see how it fits, and go back and forth. So I've decided on where to put this and how big of a gap I want. And then at this end, I just decided that I'll just bend the end. I think that looks pretty dang good. It actually came out to just the right size. Love it when you're trying to build something and things just kind of line up. It's great. It's great. I got my other piece. I'm gonna do the same thing. Just bend the tip, just the tip. Now I'm gonna kind of grind it down so that it's coped to fit the other pipe and also just to shorten it up a little bit. You don't always need a tube notcher. You can just be good with a grinder, right? You know how every once in a while you see those promo deals on Facebook or wherever online that are like, hey, check this out, check out this product and buy them and we'll give you a deal. Well, I bought these flap discs, benchmark abrasives from Flagstaff. What up, Flag? They had a deal that was going on for like, hey, pay shipping and we'll give you 10, and that's it. So I actually jumped on that deal, and these have actually been really nice. Just shout out to Benchmark Abrasives. Check them out online. But I've been using this disc here for quite a few projects, and it's still going strong. It's got a pretty good amount of material, and you know, got a couple different grits. This one's a 60 grit. I got an 80 grit, and I got, you know, a few more. But you know, 10 pack for 10 bucks basically, I think was the shipping. That's pretty dang good. So I'm trying to get the spacing on the back correct. I'm going to start with my limitations being this back post that I got all set up where I want it to be. Now I just got to figure out the width that it's going to sit, you know, from that plate to that plate. So I took the measurement there. I'm going to see it, like, it kind of works sitting on this table. I should be able to kind of bump it out each way and get the measurement to match over there, weld it, be able to put it up, see how it fits. So we're gonna try that out. I got all the legs tack welded on. It looks pretty good. This is how it's gonna sit. Everything's lined up, so now I should be able to just do the full weld. And then I can start working on the accessories, because I want to build this portion here into a ladder. Just put a couple steps there, a couple steps there. I want to do a little bit of triangulation, maybe here and there, and maybe in front, clearing the door. That's the plan, but yeah, so just gonna weld. Alright, I dig it. I dig it. Ugh. That was about the ugliest weld I've done. Wow. I'm gonna grind that down. See, already right here, I got about half an inch, or maybe an inch of clearance. And that's about as close as I would want to get for clearance issues on this whole thing. But I needed that just because already when I didn't think about this when I did it, but when I welded the leg right here, I think the heat allowed this to kind of bow down a little bit or something. I'm not sure when it happened, but there's a slight bow down the front, and I tried to get that back by pressing up with this guy, and then also with this guy on this top, and that kind of got it at least to where it's not gonna, like, I could do pull-ups right here. I could probably get up there and stand on it and it's not going anywhere. That is pretty stiff. It's got a top and a bottom support, so that I'm actually really happy with. Yeah, I'm hanging on it right now and it's just kind of flexing the tiniest bit. It feels really strong, but what doesn't feel very strong, see that wiggle? It transfers all the way down to the feet here, so it might just be the feet aren't the most solid thing, and maybe if I had the cap or the canopy on top of the feet, that would get that going a little better. Because I'm trying to look and I don't see anything like bending here. It is kind of just down here. I got up there and jumped around on it and it's holding me up, and I'm almost, 180, 190 depending on the day, so I feel pretty confident about that. Now the only other thing that I might add to it as far as an accessory is on one of my old ladder racks, I had a way of mounting a bike on the side like this, and what it was is just a piece of angle iron that I had sitting right here going the length of the bed, and just so happens I got some angle iron. I figure I might just throw that piece of angle iron right here back to front and have just a spot where the bike can sit on the side, because they do have two bikes and they do go mountain biking quite a bit. We gotta have all the things to be able to do it all. We gotta be able to have bikes, we gotta have boats, we gotta have a trailer hitch so we can have a big boat, and then we get go have fun. I'm out of breath, but it's very important that you do test fit often, even though this thing's getting heavy. I put the 2x2 1/4" angle iron on here for a bike rack. This is why you test fit, because you find little issues. I don't know if Randy's gonna be happy about having a nice bike rack, but not able to. We might have to use the bikes, so I'm gonna adjust it. I'm thinking I want to go with the angle, like so I make a V so that it'll hold the tire, but that's not too bad. I only put a couple tacks on there, so it should be almost doable just to hammer it up. Let's see how the bike looks. Well, as you can tell, it's starting to get later in the day, and bringing it down to the last hour. But here we are. I am going to say that it is fabricated. Everything's welded. Most sharp edges are ground down. The only thing left is I might chop off the end here, but I'll wait till it's on the truck before I decide to do that, because I think it might actually be the perfect length for the bed. Either way, I decided to flip this so it's facing out. Wait, thank you. There it is. Out. Because with the size of tire, these are 2.3 inch tires, and that's a 2-inch piece of angle iron, so it wouldn't quite fit if I just did straight up like I had to switch to. The V was great because it can, you know, it's a V, it can go for bigger. But by doing it out like this, then, I mean, it at least catches a piece of it, and when you strap it in and onto it, then it's solid. And this eliminates any possibility of that gas cap lid interfering. So I went with that, and then I can, you know, I can step and walk along the edge fairly comfortably, which is one of the things that Randy wanted. He wanted to be able to climb up and then walk along the edge to kind of load and strap things down. He also wants to be able to walk along the top, which I would say it is strong enough to do that. If I go up here, yeah, I would say so. It's got, you know, a tiny bit of flex if I'm in the very middle jumping around, but I would say it's pretty dang good. The last thing, am I going to quickly paint over all the welds with some galvanized paint? I think so, because that's the right thing to do. Not 1,000 welds, but I got a decent amount, so I'm gonna get to it. At least on the galvanized parts. The steel down here needs to be painted regardless, so I might leave that up for Randy. I'm not a painter, so that's not my deal. But I'll do that. I'll take the Polyflex, Polymat, Poly whatever, and I'll get that going on top, zip tie, or I'll just send it with him depending on when he shows up. All right, moment of truth. Built this whole thing, painted over the welds with some galvanized paint. If you're curious about what it is, this stuff I used, Zark Galvanite galvanizing compound, 95% pure zinc. Anyways, I like the paint on version just because I can brush it on real easily compared to, I had a spray on version, aerosol spray, and it's just, you got a lot of overspray. It's kind of a waste. So one of those, I haven't even like dented the amount of paint that's in that thing because it really brushes on easy and you don't need much. So the only thing is that it's not cosmetically appealing. It's a little bit lighter, duller, flat color, even though that's supposed to be the shiny pigment. Is that the right word? I don't know. That's supposed to be the shinier one compared to there's a flatter one, but whatever. It covers it. You can paint it whatever color you want later. Anyways, let's get this guy up on the truck one last time. I put the weather stripping down and left the backing on so I could slide it. That was perfect. Now I just gotta get that backing off, and then I'm gonna put another layer of weather stripping over the top, and then I'm gonna clamp it all down. Now here's the next trick. Hopefully these clamps fit. If they don't, like with weather stripping under, weather stripping over, weather stripping in between, we'll find out. Warner, NRS, American Whitewater, Kayak Academy, Warner, Kokatat, Pacific Northwest, NRS. Yeah, look at that. That looks sick. That's a boat carrying machine and a bike carrying machine. I think I'll just round off these corners. That's kind of a good length. That looks good. All I gotta do is, you know, clamp it down, and that's it. There you go. Roof rack made out of galvanized EMT conduit. That's solid. I'm shaking the whole truck. All right, I'm digging it. Do things yourself, you know? Build it, have fun.
Yes. It's so big. Okay, love you, bye.
There it is. Found Randy's rack. Oh, it looks so good. Look at this. Yeah, I can climb right up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, we got the Polymax flooring on it. He's got kayak stackers up here. It's looking great. What do you think, Spencer?
Randy likes butts.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with how this rack turned out. Yeah. If you want to see another rack that I built, right over there is my van. There's that rack, so check it out.